Hello BookTube. Today I'm going to be doing the Moody Book Tag. This tag was created by Slanted Spines, and I saw this tag originally on Sean the Book Maniac's channel. And I will leave links to both down below. Question number 1. Do you consider yourself a mood reader? Yes, insofar as my moods affect my reading and what I think about what I'm reading. If I'm having a bad day, if something's been especially trying, or I'm depressed, or whatever, my reading does suffer. And I'm far more critical, perhaps unjustly, with what I'm reading, or towards what I'm reading, at that given moment in time. Which is probably why I do have bail redemptions, and like second looks at a lot of books, because is my initial impression right, or am I just being overly critical because I've had a bad day or whatever? Question number 2. Do you set TBR lists, and do you stick to them? I do set TBR lists, whether it's just like something I want, a selection of books I want to read, or if there's a readathon or a personal reading project I want to set up, then I do work on TBRs, and I enjoy kind of creating TBRs. But I don't necessarily stick to them, because while in the moment of creating the TBR, I'm having a blast doing it, when it gets time to actually reading the books, I'm not as enthusiastic. I'm wanting to move on to other things I want to read. So yeah, I'm consistent in a lot of my reading, I think. Question number 3. Do books affect you emotionally? Does the mood of a book rub off on you? No and no. Usually it's the other way around. It's like I said in the first question. My personal mood will affect my reading. Like how I'm feeling at the day will affect the reading. The books don't really affect my emotions. Question number 4. When you're feeling sad, what do you read? I try to read comics and manga, because I think they sort of can get me over a depressive stage. Also, I found history can do that too sometimes. Although this year has been relatively rough on my reading in some ways. And I'll take another look at that, and when June comes and we do the mid-year look at my reading, I'll kind of have a better idea of whether or not my reading year has been as bad as I'm thinking it has been, at least in March. Question number 5. Most often, do you use reading to escape, to learn, or to critically reflect? I read because I enjoy it. Now, to a degree, you can escape, but I don't know necessarily if, in my experience, I feel that sense of escape, of being transported into other lives, other worlds, other states of being. Yeah. But insofar as, like, when one says read to escape, it's like an enjoyable experience. I mean, I read because I enjoy it. Do I read to learn? Yes. Again, it is quite enjoyable to learn new things. and to expand your knowledge. I find that it'd be an enjoyable experience. So, yeah. To critically reflect, I don't think anybody ever really intentionally reads to critically reflect, at least initially. Now, I'm not entirely sure I quite know what this means. Because I want to say it means like critical analysis. Like you read to interpret. But reflection, I think, could mean maybe something more meditative, more, I don't know. And so I don't really think I read to critically reflect. Although that said, as part of my reading, I do naturally turn to critical analysis. It's just ever since undergrad and at university, I've tended to, whatever I'm reading, to read it rather critically. Perhaps overly critically, which can give the impression that I'm basically the critic from that cartoon show from the mid-90s who hated pretty much every movie he watched. And that was the running gag. And, I'm perhaps overly critical. I'm perhaps harsh in my criticisms, but it's not like that harshness equates to me not liking what I'm reading. I'm just naturally rather critical. Question number 6. What is a book that made you laugh out loud? I'm going to go with nonfiction and fiction for these kinds of questions. So a history book that made me laugh out loud is Big Wonderful Thing by Stephen Harrigan, which is his Big History of Texas, which I have harped on ever since I've read it. That book is a hoot. And for fiction, I would go with City of Lost Fortunes by Brian Camp. That book is also very enjoyable. What is a book that has made you cry, or if you don't cry, one that really moved you? For this one, I don't know if there's a fiction novel that's really affected me in this way. There have been some nonfiction that has affected me. The 100 Years' War on Palestine by Rashid Khalidi, Stony the Road by Henry Louis Gates Jr., Inglorious Empire by Shashi Tharoor have really been very gut-punchy. Books. Amazing books, but still very moving. Question number 8. What is a book that you didn't even know how you felt about? I don't think I have one. Or one's not necessarily coming to mind where I'm sort of unsure about. I'm pretty sure of my opinions on a lot of books. Question number 9. Are you more likely to read on a sunny day or a cloudy day? It doesn't matter. I will read whenever. Whether it's cloudy or whether it's sunny. Question number 10. Do you usually set the mood when you read? Music, lights, smells, etc. No. I just sit down to read. I don't need music or lights or smells or etc. Nor do music, lights, smells, whatever, distract me from reading. I can pretty much read and nothing will distract me. Unless I try to do like Steve Donohue's method, then I'm very aware of everything. But anyway. Question number 11. Can you leap from book to book, or do you need buffer time between them? I think I can move. I can transition from one book to the next. I don't really need a buffer unless I bail. So basically, what I do when my reading is I will, depending what time I finish a book, if I've enjoyed it, or it hasn't enraged me in some way, I will, depending what time it is, I will either move on to the next book, which it's usually the amount of time it takes me to take the book I finished and bring it into this room, and then to pick up the next book I'm going to be reading and take it back out into the living room. Now my reading, it comes towards the end of the day of my reading. Then I will end. I won't read. I won't start on a book, and I'll begin it the next day. If I'm in a bailing mood, like what happened in February with Lot, Alamo House, and The Namesake, I think I bailed on Lot, moved directly onto Alamo House, bailed on that, and then I came back the next day for The Namesake and bailed on that. And then I'm like, I need to call it. I need to take a break. And then I came back the next day with Streams of Gold, Rivers of Blood by Anthony Caldelas. So that was the Moody Reader Tag. If you would like to do this tag, consider yourselves tagged. And I will be back tomorrow either with another tag video, because I am positively buried in tags. I think Brian of Bookish is about to give me about 4 more tags I need to do. I did mention Friday wanting to do a writing update, which is long overdue, so I might do that instead and try to catch up on tags Thursday, and then Friday's weekly reads. So anyway, BookTube, I'm going to go ahead and sign up for now so I can get this uploaded. And until I see you tomorrow, thank you, have a great afternoon, and stay safe.